Toon's Comics here with another exciting, oh so thrilling comic book haul! Yes! So, as you can see, I may have hijacked Scoon's Comics for the time being. And if you are looking for a regular Scoon's Comics comic book haul, skip this video altogether because it's going to be a little different. But if you want to stick around, there will be a couple of surprises. So, just to get started, I currently live with a comic book collector, and I have enjoyed comics for many, many years, but I unfortunately am not a collector, and I don't know a lot of the history, artists, and authors, so I might not give the credit to people that really deserve it. I enjoy the stories. I have read them for many, many years. So my beginnings start with my neighborhood branch. I lived right around the corner from it, and there was a great tub of comics that were always being changed out in the children's area. I would sit my bottom down and tear into as many comics as I could. Loved me some X-Men. And along the way, came across many, many other comics as I went, and they opened up in my time a young adult section, which was about 5 shelves of books. Nothing compared to the young adult fiction and books and everything that comes out now, and I love those collections. I read young adult novels as often as I can. But I remember one of my first comics which showed up in the young adult section was ElfQuest. And I loved me some ElfQuest. I got several volumes of those that I could tear through. And ever since then, Scoon, when he's out for his comic book hauls, is always on the lookout for ElfQuest comics just for me when they are reasonably priced, as these were. I have a nice little collection now. My own long box, surprisingly, in Scoon's comic room. I have a little bit of area set aside just for some of the comics that I get to collect now. I knew it was love the first time he set aside a little space for me, and I have a couple of long boxes in there. So recently, I received another comic. Sometimes he goes based on my tastes, my interests, something that's struck a chord with me and gets me some of those comics. But once in a while, he'll also get some that represent events, things that have happened. And I recently called a radio station and won a contest. So randomly, I had dropped my son off at school, was driving home, and they were saying, 10th caller, get the lyrics right. I was right next to a parking lot, so I pulled over, looked up the song that they had sung incorrectly, called them up, and it actually rang. And when they answered, they weren't telling me I was the 5th caller or anything like that. So I got to sing on a radio station, and I got to win me some New Kids on the Block tickets. So I went down to Indianapolis, celebrated with my daughter, and went to a New Kids on the Block concert. Within 2 days of winning these tickets, Scoon came home and surprised me with this gem. A New Kids on the Block comic. The boys are up to all of their typical hijinks. I love the ads because there are ads for the 900 number that you used to call and pay for. And as a child, I will age myself, I was about in 5th or 6th grade when I called that 900 number on a phone. We randomly had a phone extension in our garage, and I called that number, racked up a crazy bill, and got caught by my parents and blamed a neighbor girl for making the phone calls. I think I still got in trouble, but I tried to get away with it. So, other things that Scoon knows to be on the lookout for are feeding my Jane Austen love and taste. I was randomly, let me get out of there so I can make that in focus. I was randomly looking up this cover, and I saw that the artist actually did the cover for Jim Henson's Storyteller Witches collection, that book. And I thought, oh my gosh, there's all these comics about the Jim Henson Storyteller, and I loved that series. So now I'll have to let Scoon know to be on the lookout for anything that's Jim Henson Storyteller, because I don't have anything like that. He's gotten me the whole Pride and Prejudice series, and I think a couple of the Sense and Sensibility ones. The first Sense and Sensibility has the same artist who did the cover as well with that one, but feeds my love of Jane Austen. Other fun ones, just because. So besides just reading the comics that were at the local library, I would often get the Betty and Veronica double digest that would be in the aisle at the grocery store. So this series came out recently with Betty and Veronica and Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. So I've got that little collection as well. Picked up a bunch of these. There are several different artists who do the covers for these. It's a lot of fun. Just a fun little little series that I enjoyed. Now, Scoon will also pay attention to other interests that I have. I like strong female characters when they're available, strong female heroes, and I also like when my background is that I am Native American, and I enjoy when there are Native American heroes or characters that are just featured. So he'll find some of them and grab those up for me. This one, I want to show the whole series that I got for this. It was for my birthday, and my birthday is in November, which coincides with the National Native American Heritage Month. And so they were featuring Native American artists for covers. So we have Black Panther and Spider-Man, we have Hulk, try and get that, Captain America, Thor, Black Widow, and Iron Man. I was very excited about this birthday present. I will tell you, Scoon is quite the gift giver. So, to close this video, I would like to tell you a story about high school and my high school experience years and years ago. I was a sophomore and I met a freshman because I was in choir and theater with his older sister, and we were at her house for a crackpot chili dinner, which was a lot of fun. And that night I met her brother, and later I asked him out and he agreed, and he became my first boyfriend in high school. And I was his first girlfriend. So we were each other's first boyfriend and girlfriend, went out for a few months, and for a long time, right up until a couple months before I started talking to him again, I would tell people about my favorite, most thoughtful gift that I received for Valentine's Day. And I said it happened when I was 15 or 16 years old, and the boyfriend that I was dating at the time knew that my favorite character, my favorite comic book series was X-Men, and my favorite character was Rogue. So he got me the special Rogue series that came out. Now, recently, I have the rest of this series, but this first, this number one of Rogue, I have had since then, since I was 15, 16 years old. Had a little note in there that I had written myself, not on the comic, thankfully. I think Scoon may have murdered me if I had written on a comic. I had learned about boarding and bagging books at that time because I was given them. And I have kept this comic not in the best of condition. As you can see, the sides are chewed up, and it's been much loved. But this comic has been the only comic in my collection for decades. And I've always appreciated this gentleman giving me this comic. It's always been quite a joy. And
what's he doing? Hi.
Hey.
You're talking to the people?
I have introduced myself to Scoon's Comics World.
Okay. Why have you done this?
Well, I think it fair enough that what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours.
Well, you can be a special guest star on this production, and the comics are mine. Very important. But these are your comics, yes.
Yes.
Indeed. Do you have anything else you want to show here, dear?
I would like to point out how Scoon is always so great about getting me comics for events coming up in our universe. So my final share is Scoon knows that I like the romance comics. I enjoy watching these old schools of thought, and he was nice enough to find one that fit, so nice, and to fit upcoming events, which would be
Just married, but we're not married yet. We are
engaged.
Hooray!
So here is the surprise. Woo!
Love you, dear.
I love you too.
Mwah.
And that was your edition of Toon's Comics.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks.